Hello, Benjies. Welcome to BingeWorthy, part of the Geekish Network. We binge a show to let you know if you should. I am your host, Rakai, the Newt from the Ville, and with me, we have the OGs, the founders, the legends themselves. We have first Mr. Johnny Randolph. Say hello to the people, sir.
Yo, what's going on, Benji's? I'm back on BingeWorthy. It's been a while. Happy to be back.
And we are glad to have you back, sir. And then also we have the OG himself, the triple OG, Mr. Chuck Babb. Say hello to the people, sir.
What's up, people? How y'all doing? Excited about this show. That's what I had to say. Excited about this show.
Yeah, man.
Now, if you're an audience member, feel free to communicate with us. We are live right now on YouTube, on Facebook, Twitch, wherever you might find us. We're glad that you found us. And just side note, if you haven't done so already, hit the subscription button. We are 20 away from 1,000. Listen, get us there. Help us. Tell your friends. Everybody, hit the button. It's not hard. Now, today, we're going to binge a show. Well, we've already binged a show, and we're going to let you know if you should binge it. And it is Netflix's new hit, season 1 of Supacell. And it's about a group of seemingly ordinary Black people from South London unified by a family history of sickle cell disease. They unexpectedly develop superpowers. They discover each other and fend off entrapment by a secret organization seeking to control them. Now, our technical director, Rodney, he posts our cast members' ratings for Supercell. And while he posts the ratings, we'll let you know what we rate the show at the beginning of the podcast. And then also at the end, after we talked a little bit, discussed it, see if we had a change of heart, and we'll do what's rare on shows like this. We have a double rating. So we'll rate at the beginning, we'll rate at the end. Rodney, how did this shake out?
Two full meals in a binge worthy.
Okay.
Not bad.
All right. So yeah, we had 2 full meals and a binge worthy. And I don't know, Rodney, can you say what was because I think Courtney sent in her rating too. She couldn't make it with us tonight. She's ill, she's under the weather, and we wish her a speedy return. Okay, so well, right now, so we got 4485 13 divided by 3, so basically a 4 point something or another. So right now we are right in the full meal category.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start with you,
exciting.
Randy. Huh?
Go ahead. I said that sounds exciting.
So I'm gonna start with you, Randy. You gave it a binge worthy, and I would really like to, not that you have to justify your rating, but I would like to hear your reasoning behind your rating.
Okay. To me, this show, it was addictive. And it was addictive because I got to see superheroes from a Black perspective. And the whole cast was Black. And I thought they told really germane and authentic stories, even though it wasn't set in America, about Black culture. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was fast paced. I thought it was energetic. I thought it was super fun. And the reason that I gave it a binge was because I literally binged it. I'm in school right now and I had a big project due and I started off Sunday. And, I was like, okay, I'm going to watch one episode. And I didn't even plan on being on the show tonight. I was like, I'll watch a couple of episodes. Man, I still started from episode 2 and went all the way to the end, fully binging it out. The characters I thought were dynamic. I thought the acting was really good. It wasn't without its problems, but the overall project kept me coming back and interested in what was going to happen next. That's why I gave it a 4 binge job.
Okay, thank you, sir. Chuck, what was your reasoning behind your full meal?
Full meal. I thought the writing was really, really good. Uh, well, most of it was the writing of situations. That is, the dialogue could have been a little bit better. I think what faltered in the dialogue was that I know this is in Britain, and I felt as though they didn't attach itself to any of the African continental cultures. Like there was no jollof rice scene, or wasn't stuff like that that let me throw. Oh, these groups of people are Nigerian. Oh, these people are Zimbabwean or Tanzanian. And I know that in the UK they still hold on to their African roots. You know, the thing they all did was suck their teeth. And I know that's a very African thing. We don't do that
Mm-hmm.
here. We don't
Yeah.
suck our teeth. But I was expecting more of that. And what I got was like a British rendition, like Top Boy, but Top Boy even had more African roots in it. It felt more like The Wire, but it was in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Like every show that I've watched from the UK that had black people in it, they latched on to some parts of their African cultures, and it'd been nice to know that a lot of people that suffered from their family suffered from the disease of sickle cell actually showed those cultures and where it happens to them at. Like, oh, we're
Mm-hmm.
Tanzanian, or we're Zimbabwean, or we're Guyanese, or we're Nigerian. It'd been nice to know they all came from different subcultures. They come from different continental culture, country cultures of Africa. That would have stood out for me, but it didn't have that. That's something I think knocked it for me. They all
Okay.
seem the same.
I actually I think I can agree with that, and I agree with a lot of what you both said. I think for me the falter in the dialogue was that even though it was an authentic British show, part of them not showing the different cultures was kind of a letdown. But even more for an American audience and maybe other audiences, there's a bit of disconnect in the amount of slang that was used,
Mhm.
so that a strictly British audience would have been, they'd have ate this up and be like, this is fantastic. um and I am getting a little bit more culture there because I've been watching a lot of Doctor Who.
Hmm.
So I'm picking up on a lot of things that are not colloquialisms here. But there's a bit of disconnect when they say they deliver dialogue, and I'm like, uh, what did that mean? What is that? Like certain things that they did, I get it because I understand London. London is
Hmm.
like New York City. There's no guns. You know what I'm saying? Somebody got a gun. Like, who in the military? Like, how you get a gun? So that's why there's so many knives. Most people don't know that London, like per capita or whatever it is that they have more CCTVs, they have more closed loop TVs than any other city in the world.
Hmm.
This is almost everything you do is caught on a camera somewhere in London. They don't play that. Um, so there's a lot of the things that I could let go, but some of the vernacular, it just was hard to kind of keep up, for someone who's not super familiar with that.
And the
But
part about
besides
the
that,
knives, I actually knew. So it made sense to me.
yeah.
That's why I
Hmm.
knew. I was like, oh, yeah, they don't have guns. Like, because I watched it with my wife and she was like, why don't they just shoot? I was like, it ain't like that in London, right? It's
Yeah.
not, gun culture is a very American,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Around the world or different countries, everybody don't have all access to a lot of guns. And so I knew that going in there. And so it added a little
Hmm.
bit. I'm not claiming to be
Yeah,
like,
that authenticity.
yeah,
Yeah.
it added
Hmm.
authenticity to me.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I did like that about that. And again, that was something that I knew as well. I don't know if everyone knows that about London. And yeah, like you said, just like what your wife says, like, wait, this is silly. Like, why they keep pulling out these little knives and
It's
stuff?
just
Like,
all about knife culture.
no.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
all
it's
about
all about
knife
knife
culture.
culture.
All
Yeah.
about blades.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
They
I was shocked I didn't see anybody carrying machetes because they do have machetes too.
mm-hmm.
Um, and I expected more slang actually. Of course, I
Did you?
listen to London rappers. Yeah, I listen to London rappers. So a lot of it, I can understand most of it. I don't listen to their most popular rapper right now, but I listen to most rappers though, like
You know,
Skepta, Kano, and JT and J Hus, and so
do
it's
you
really
listen to
interesting.
Gets?
I listen to Get
You do.
Gigs, yeah,
Okay.
And I
Gigs,
See,
like
I
that
don't
they
know
tried
that.
to
See,
do that.
with
Dave.
British hip hop, there is a bit of a disconnect for me. Like
Mm,
I have heard some British hip hop, and I don't even like saying British hip hop because hip hop is hip hop. Um, but I don't know. It's just I don't follow it like that. I've heard some that I liked, but I think for me, I like the fact that Rapman stayed with a British, you
Yeah,
know,
me too.
that he did the soundtrack his way and
Yes.
did it so that it was authentically London, South London.
Yes.
I think
Yes.
for a deeper connect, if he had a few more global songs in it, that would have been cool. Like even if it was I'm not even saying American songs. Like, you know, if you had a Burner Boy song in there or something like something that plays
All
more
straight out the
globally
continent.
instead of like,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
We'll deviate
I,
just a little bit, right? But remember
Yeah.
before, right, like the internet and everything, like hip hop was really regional. There was slang
yeah.
that didn't always translate over. I remember when I first moved to Lexington and I went back to Detroit, and like the ideal of Master P was so wild to all of my friends. They're like, what are they even talking about? Like, why they
Mm-hmm.
wearing the gold grills? And this is, things like that. So I like that part where they made hip hop like central to it.
Mm-hmm.
It was London. It was British hip hop, and I'm fine with
Yeah.
saying British because we say West Coast hip hop, we say East Coast. We all so
Yeah,
I'm
down
fine.
south. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
down
get it.
south. So I'm fine with those distinctions, and I
Mm-hmm.
like that they adhere to that, and they didn't try to make it more than what it was because we
Yeah.
got the story that was from this place, this culture, this time.
No, like the
Yeah.
only reason I don't have a major qualm about it is because like that statement I just made about, you know, playing a little bit more stuff that's global. If I wouldn't have made that statement about the RZA,
Right.
Yeah.
he scores almost all the movies that he does. I wouldn't have made, you know, and there's a lot of other hip hop heads,
Mm-hmm.
you know, people that we are through and through hip hop all the way that score movies now. And I wouldn't have made that comment about them. So
Yeah.
that's the only reason why I didn't have that qualm. It's just I am not as familiar with a
Yeah.
lot of the British version of hip hop. I don't know a whole lot of their artists. And I think that's actually kind of a tragedy. If they got some stuff that's popping over, I think, you
They
know, I
do.
mean, the last dude that I remember that was popping on a global and kind of cracked over in over here was Cardinal Official. And I don't even think he's on the scene no more.
Wow.
So yeah, right.
Nah.
So,
He's not
but
even
I
British.
do
He's
know who
Canadian.
Gets is. I do know who some of their folks are, but I can, you know, YouTube is a wonderful place. So I've seen a few things, but it's not. As a matter of fact, some of that I'd rather listen to that than Ice Spice and some of this other crap that's popping in America. Like, man, give me one of them British rappers and stuff and take Sexy Red off the air. Like,
But you never
I'm
heard
okay with
Skepta
that.
and Conan? When Skepta and Conan
Yeah,
both came out
yeah, I have heard
together?
them.
And
Yeah.
Skepta ended up going solo. And then there's like Jay Huss. A lot of this stuff I picked up too because it's just because I jump in rabbit holes. I'm the fool that jumps through rabbit holes. And I started off actually following female rappers from the UK because they're better than the female rappers from America. And it just like Little Sims, I think is dope. And then I just started finding other rappers. Then when I went to London, actually on my flight, they had a BET channel, and it talks
Mm-hmm.
about like this like BET analyzing garage and drill, like UK drill, UK garage, and UK jungle, and the roots of all these and how they all built on top of each other.
Yeah, I've heard UK drill. It's
And like
actually
how
it was nice. Like
that's what Rap
UK
Man
drills.
used in a lot of this. So when you
UK drill is nice. Yeah,
yeah.
I know because he got his background from doing music videos and stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of drill music and UK drill,
yeah,
and it's based on
UK
UK
has a nice
garage.
drill. They have a nice drill scene. So I am familiar a little bit with that. Um,
You know, Dave like pulling out blades and stabbing up people and stuff like that, shanking them, and Chip. You know, there's a lot like Stormies. Stormies is really
mhm.
big, and it's like you listen to it, you're like, okay, and they talk about all kinds of stuff going back to the
Now here's
continent.
here's here's the one thing that I'm gonna say I find at fault, and that's with you, Chuck.
Hmm.
You are our resident hip hop head. I don't recall you sharing any of those videos or links to none of that you're saying right now. Because
I
I'm trying to tell you,
shared.
like, as much as I am into music, you go down to the deep rabbit holes. You find Alice Wonderland, the Queen of Spades, Queen of Hearts, all that, and you send some stuff through, and I'm like, I would have never found this on my own. But this is
uh,
dope. When you
I
go
mean,
through
I
your
send you
whole
all
like all
kinds of
the
stuff.
Japanese rappers and them Asian rappers and
Yeah,
stuff, I'd never
Russian trap
found.
rappers and
I
yeah,
didn't.
I'm just curious, like, oh, what is this? And I just have it in the background playing. And the fortunate thing about YouTube Thank you, YouTube. Is they'll go to the next song, and this next song will be somebody in that same genre, and I'll know if I like it or not. And then on my Instagram, since my YouTube is connected to my phone and my phone's connected to my Instagram, all of a sudden I'll say, "These are the UK drill rappers you need to know about." And I'll sit there and I actually put that in, I bookmark it, and I'll listen to a couple of the songs, and I pull up my iPad and just Shazam it, and I'll go to that person and listen to their song, and it gives recommended other songs. My Because I have music on in my house all day long.
And while
It's
I
just
Well,
wasn't
all I'll say
familiar
is I
with
don't
any of
remember
these
none of them
rappers,
links. I don't remember them links. You have sent me Russian rappers, Ukrainian folk
I'll start
artists,
sending those to
uh
no,
you.
like I'm
yeah,
not very familiar with British rap at all.
Uzbekistan,
I
Uzbekistan
thought,
dudes are doing the
yeah,
throat music. Like that was dope.
but
I'd
the
never found
quality
that.
of the score, don't you? At least I thought the quality of the score was great.
It
It
was a
really,
I
character.
I did.
the energy
I
and the tempo really went with the series. That's what I thought. I was more impressed by Ratman's ability to match energy, emotion, and tempo with the
with the
soundtrack or with the
score.
series than
Hmm.
anything. So the score, even not knowing the artist or being familiar with it, like the score felt another kid, like it was another character, and it felt tangible, it was tactile almost to go with this story. So that impressed
Yeah.
me. And I
The
never heard of
score,
Rap prior to
the
this.
score was very appropriate and it
Yeah,
fit. And like you said, it did have the proper energy for the proper scenes. So
Yeah.
that he had a deft hand at doing that, and he
absolutely.
did a fantastic job at that. I just wish I was more familiar
I
with the
agree.
songs.
Uh
And some of the songs did make me be like, yeah, I might need to look that up and see what that song was
yeah.
or whatever. And
Yeah.
maybe that was his point in doing it too. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if he's a director on the scene and he's fully entrenched in the music scene over there and he's making
Hmm.
a feature for Netflix, why wouldn't you feature your homies and people you don't work
Yeah,
with
man.
and people that you believe in? So I mean, I get
Yeah.
it. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I said, just for me, I wish I was more familiar with it. And I'm not saying that I needed to hear "Not Like Us" for the 17 millionth time. Um,
Hmm.
but I do wish there was a few more things that I could have held on to and like, that was a dope cut right here, you know. Um, now there why did this particular series, because it was number one on Netflix, why did it resonate with people when there's been so much talk of superhero fatigue and people just they sick and tired of DC
Uh,
and Marvel, and DC and Marvel have pretty much have owned the bank on when it comes to superheroes, but every time they turn out something, we talk about fatigue. Why did this resonate with people?
it, it wasn't a traditional superhero story, right? It wasn't like they were trying to be heroes to save the world. They were just trying to survive and figure out their powers. Those stories do very well. Heroes did well. There's been a couple of them. Even Smallville did well because
Mm-hmm.
it was superheroes discovering their powers and trying to survive with their power. Dark Angel's a prime example. You know, um, it's like, oh, we discover we have these powers, and there's a big bad chasing us, and we have no idea who the big bad is. Um, and they based it on like something that we all hope for. There's a disease that plagues, that's a hereditary disease that plagues a certain group of people. And what if that disease mutates into something causes powers in other people? What happens? I
Yeah.
mean, Batman didn't originate this story. There's a comic book called Black, and Black originated this story that very, very well. One day, black people woke up and just had powers.
And
You
Mm-hmm.
I think
know?
it was authentic. I think it was the
Yeah,
authenticity of the
yeah.
characters really resonated with people because none of the powers were exceptional or outside the realm or things that we hadn't seen before. We've seen all of these archetypes before, but the stories behind them were really authentic. And I
Hmm.
think people really related to that. And so, and again, we'd never seen kind of like black people doing that.
Yeah,
So
You,
I'm,
you
I'm,
know,
I'm
yeah.
here's the
And
other
it,
thing I
and
think that here's the other thing I think that helped it resonate with people. When people found out that they had the powers, they didn't want them. It was more inconvenience to their life. And they was like, none of them were like, you know what? The first thing I need to do is get me a suit. And then I need to go out here
mm,
and get on the roof and test all my powers out. It's like, no, like what the hell is going on with me? When Michael
yes.
first got his powers, he just thought it was deja vu, and he chalked it up as that was weird, you know.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
when he went to the future and came back, shit, he thought he was crazy. He was talking
Yeah.
to his people, and they was like, "Are you, bruh? That was a dream. You was tripping." And
Yeah.
it was
But that's what we
almost
would
like
think
that
though.
for everybody. Like
Mm-hmm.
that
Authenticity.
had
Yeah.
more of a feel of this is what it would be if you woke up one
Authentic.
morning
Yep.
and just in the middle of your day you found out you had a superpower. Like that would freak me the hell out.
And
Yeah.
all the
You
people
know?
around you, how it's going to impact them, right? Like old boy and his gang, they was like, what the hell? They started calling them ghosts. And I'm like, that's what black people would do. If they found somebody who could
Exactly.
disappear, they start calling them ghosts, right? That's how he
Yep.
would get that moniker, right?
Yep.
Exactly. And it's funny because being that they were a gang and they did gang stuff, the first thing he's like, yeah, well, call your cousin with that brick of dope. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We can
Yeah.
get paid, boys. You know.
Yeah. And then that makes total sense too. Like that's like, oh, that makes sense. I get what they're doing there. And it does feel like it's just like they realize the power could hinder them more than I got enough problems. This
Right.
is a new one. Oh
And
my
two,
God.
they couldn't control it at first, right?
Yeah, and I can't
So
control it.
on top of systemic racism, poverty, now I got this newfound ability that I
Yeah.
can't control, and I end
And
up hurting somebody, and I'm gonna go to jail, right? It's a
and
lot.
Michael's like, I'm about to get married. I got my boo. She's been riding with me. I got this good job. I'm working it. I'm
And she
working
was
it.
so down for him.
She
Let's
was
give it
so
up for
down
him.
for him. She
She
was
was
so
so
down.
down for
She was
Michael.
so down for him. She seemed like a really good-hearted person,
I
right?
thought so.
And he didn't seem like a bad person at all. Like old girl Shorty's sister kept trying to holler at him. He's like, nah, I'm good on that.
He's like, nah, I'm good. I don't
I'm
need your
good.
number.
As he
And
should have
even
been.
to the
He
even to the
was.
point where she
He
couldn't figure
do
it out. She's like, listen, she said, I'm looking good. I'm in my little pink satin, jammy outfit. Ah, he must be gay. Because how he
how you
don't
gonna
like me.
turn this down?
Nah,
He's like,
Man,
you
she
don't know what
was
he
like
got at
the
home.
worst character.
I felt like he felt the energy, and he was like, something ain't
Nope.
right here.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. You ain't
This is
you
what
ain't it.
happens when you grow up and your father and
Yes.
your uncles teach you like there's some girls you just gotta stay away from.
No,
Son.
no,
Mhm.
what when I saw her immediately, you know what I thought of?
What?
I said, oh, she's one of them chicks that popped them red balloons.
He's went straight to the red balloons, huh?
Yeah, she is one of them red balloon poppers. He's
Nah,
not good enough for me. Pop the balloon. No, that was her.
nah,
No,
You
I don't
know,
think she thinks like that because she's dating a dude named Crazy. He went by Crazy. She was all about him too.
all about it.
She was
no,
all about it.
all I'm saying,
I'm
she
making
was
him
all
jealous.
about him. The dude who was in jail, he was in prison. But when she seen the delivery driver, and she
Yep.
threw out her best whatever, and he didn't come back, she would be one of them kind of chicks that popped the balloon. Well,
Yep. She would.
he's cute and he's this, but he don't make enough money. I want him to
Yep.
make 100,000. Well, he said he make 95,000 a year, but I want him to make six figures. Like, are you
Yeah,
what?
she is. She was definitely the antagonist of the show.
I think she was, man.
I
I
think she
do.
was the antagonist.
She was the
I don't even think it
worst.
was even Crazy. Crazy was doing what he had to do to control the block
Mm-hmm.
for the most part.
Right. And even the bedroom's like Crazy's trying to leave. She's trying to stop him. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
go. If Crazy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't been choked out in a while.
right.
You go.
And
Yeah.
then she get a knife. I'm like, Crazy's a big dude, tall dude, and she gets a knife and gonna go out. Like, what you gonna do with that? He in a car full of boys, this criminals. He's like 6'5", what you gonna do with your little knife waving it at him? Like,
But she was ready to fight everybody too.
That's just crazy.
She was
Yeah.
ready to fight her sisters, dudes, girl in the house.
Yeah,
She was ready to
She
fight
ready to fight
Michael.
him.
She
She
was
was
ready to
ready
fight
to fight the
everybody.
ponytail dude in the alley when he
Yeah.
was trying to take it.
Yeah. And that dude is wrong, but you shouldn't have been in no alley with some random stranger.
Yeah, she had very
Don't put
she had
yourself
very
in
ratchet.
harm's way.
Right.
Don't
Yeah,
put
she had ratchet energy.
Then turned
She-
to her sister and was like, "You always save me." Then put herself back in harm's way again. Got
Yeah,
mad at
to-
her sister.
to-
She's like, "I'm over this. I'm going to
To
leave you
have
alone."
been in her position, because you know what I'm saying, she's staying in that brownstone with her sister, so they doing all right.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she had very Black Air Force One energy. Like
She
Oh
it
yeah.
did.
was,
She didn't have no job. Her sister had her
But she
sister
was
was the
going. No, she was
nurse.
getting her PhD.
Well, oh, that's right. She was. She was.
She
That's
wasn't
right.
yeah,
stupid. So I was like,
yeah,
where's this coming from with
The
this
hood
girl?
chicks, dog.
yes.
Woman.
Some people are just for the streets, Randy. Just for the
She's
streets.
for the streets.
For the streets. Some people are just for the streets. But
She's for the streets.
it was this was a solid show that it had a lot of characterization, different types of people. Because Michael and his girlfriend, what's her name? What's her
Dion,
name? Dion.
Dion Ofori.
That black love was really
Was
genuine. It felt
It
genuine.
beautiful.
was, and I felt them. And did you hear like when he was talking to his partner that owned the bar? He
Hmm.
said, "Man, he'd been with Dion since like ninth or 10th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just
Like
time.
that's
Like
man.
I'm like, man, you waited too long. You
Yeah,
about to
right.
Well,
lose
not only
her.
that, but I mean, you heard like they had saved up money to buy that house, to,
Hmm.
and then he's like,
He
hey,
bought
we
her a
good.
car.
And when he
Yeah,
came through with the car, she wasn't like, oh, well, this is what I, she was like, are you sure we can afford this? Right. Her
Yeah.
first thing was about how do we do better together? And I thought that
Yeah.
was dope. And even when he pulled up and he was messing with her, he said, you got a boyfriend? And she was like, yeah. And he was like, he's lucky. And she was like, no, I'm the one
I'm
that's lucky.
lucky. I'm the one that's lucky.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. That's
That
definitely
black
not
love was
popping the
beautiful.
balloon. That's a
Right.
different
No, that's
energy
not,
right
yeah,
there.
that's the antithesis of
Yeah.
popping the balloon. They
Hmm.
Yeah.
were beautiful together, man.
They're very beautiful together.
Yeah.
And when you know when her incident happened, it kind of hurt me. It was like this is
Dude.
enough to make a man go mad.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Oh,
he probably
yeah.
can go straight villain after
Oh,
this.
Now
yeah.
here's the other thing to it about it, and I kind of talked about this a little bit in my deep dive on my channel,
Mm-hmm.
like being cursed with too much information. Like
Mm-hmm.
the worst thing that could have happened was that he went to the future and found out how this was going to shake out. Future
Mm-hmm.
him told him, this is the date that this happens. And maybe you're here because you can prevent it.
And it
Dude,
happened
I,
earlier.
I mean,
That's a
I
common
mean,
theme, right? The
somebody that means that to you though, like, dude, you'd have
Yeah.
moved heaven and earth.
To
Ah,
protect
like,
her. And then it
ah,
happens earlier. Like she's like, today's
right.
not the day. Today's not the
Right,
day, so I'm gonna be
but
all
that's
right.
what Spud kept saying. I
Yeah.
mean, when Spud kept talking about Rodney's little partner, kept talking about the butterfly effect, and
Butterfly effect. Mm-hmm.
maybe their manipulation and them doing different things in a
And
different order or whatever, that maybe it would add time. They never even fathomed
they
And
that
it
it
could
they
take
would
shortened
away.
time.
decrease time, that would take time
Yeah.
away. Like,
Mhm. That hurt. Yeah, it did. I was like, why couldn't that been the sister? Why
Like,
couldn't
you
that been the
don't wish
little
bad
sister?
things on people.
yeah.
But in this instance, you're like, why couldn't we switch that up?
Yeah, yeah.
And like, because I kind of so I did the same thing you did, Rodney. I mean Randy. I watched the first episode and then I stopped because I was like, okay, well maybe I'm gonna watch it with Centel, or maybe I'm gonna watch it with Chuck or something. But I knew we had to do it for this week. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but then when it didn't seem like that was gonna pan out, so I just binged the other five like back to back to back. Like I just watched them all in rapid succession. And I'm kind of glad that I did it that way. Um, because now I went back and watched it again to catch things I didn't catch the first time around. And there was a lot of stuff like Dion being a social worker, and she was pulling up, like she pulled up Taser's mom on the thing as missing. She pulled up the other little girl that belonged to them people that owned the restaurant, was missing. That was a little girl that could heal people. And I was like, the interconnectivity of all of these characters was super, super fascinating. And even like how they talked about how the Supacell activated, I was like, happenstance. They just came across each other, by happenstance, and it activated their powers. I thought
Yeah.
that was super dope.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. A lot of good
Yeah.
things going on with this show.
Yeah. I think what made this show, the characters were realistic humans. They behaved like realistic humans. They didn't take for they looked at the powers not as a blessing and they should take advantage of them. Because I was thinking even Ghost could have just took complete advantage. He wanted
Yeah.
revenge. I like how all their stories intertwine. They cross each other, but never actually meet each other. That was
Yeah.
very Musashi of them. If you ever read the book by A.G. Yoshihawa, they like all the characters interacted, but they're never in the same place. They're in the same place at the same time, but they never interact. And I thought
Yeah,
that
like
he did a really good job with that.
when Michael is sitting in there talking to his partner that owns a bar, and then Andre is in the seat behind him talking to his partner.
That was a great shot.
And he was looking for Andre and had no idea this is the
He
dude
was
sitting
right there.
behind him.
Right there.
You know, and I think another thing too that was really, it reminded me of a Spider-Man. And someone had asked me very recently, you know, who was the best Spider-Man? And, you know, you can make your own argument for Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, for Tom Holland. And I said, one of the things that stands out with me for Tobey Maguire being an excellent Peter Parker was because he is the Peter Parker of the classic comic books, the Spider-Man we all grew up with. He's got all this power, all this ability, and he's broke as hell. He's barely getting any money from the Daily Bugle for his pictures. He can't pay the rent. Like, he is on the struggle bus when he can pick up and throw the damn struggle bus. Like, but the fact that he had the kind of integrity to not let his powers make him do some stupid or something that wasn't, you know, in line with his moral center. Andre, you know, they didn't put his check in his account, even though he got fired, but he still worked some hours, worked a few days. They didn't put a checking account. He's trying to feed his son. He's got this whole issue with his baby mama, and he gets angry and punches the wall, and that causes all that money to come out of the ATM. But he doesn't go around punching more ATMs and trying to get over. Like, he's damn near ashamed of it. Like, he took it home and stuck it in a box, and it wasn't until the bill collectors showed up to his door and like, we get ready to start taking stuff. Yeah, that he had, that he gave him what he had, but he wasn't in all seeking to get over because he had those powers, and that was really
and even that, like,
special to watch.
That scene, he would have been fine with them taking everything when his son tried to pay for it. That's when
that's
a like, nope, we're not even doing this. I got the money right here. Because at the end of the day, I am a father, and I'm not going to have my son paying for any. It's my responsibility to take care of him. Not for him. They have to take care of me.
How about in most Western, like American, stuff like that, that guy with the power, Andre, he'd have mopped the room with them dudes. Oh, hold on a second, son. While, and bounce them dudes off the ceiling and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's not that guy. He
wasn't that guy. And that scene really resonated.
But that's why that scene resonated with me, that he did everything. It almost reminded me of old school Bruce Banner. I could Hulk out on y'all any moment, but I'm gonna keep it here. I'm gonna keep it G, like, and I love that about him.
But he wasn't a criminal. Remember, he took the fall for his homie, who stashed the drugs in his car.
Yeah, which is again systemic racism.
Wait a minute, hold on. The crazy thing about that is, I personally know of a situation like that happened in Lexington, like back in the day. So that is a very real thing. Like, when he explained that whole situation, I was like, I know someone that actually happened to.
Yeah. Oh, we all do. Yeah, we all do.
Yeah.
I knew a guy told
messed
me
up
one
a
time,
promising basketball career, and just
because
you let the wrong person in your car.
A dude went into a store and robbed it. He picked him up. It was like his homeboy. Dude went into the store and robbed it and came back. He had no idea that that's what he was going to do. Like, these are all too familiar experiences that happen to a lot of, like, poor black men and poor black people, period. So, they're not necessarily bad, and they don't have lawyers. They don't have the systemic protections to even exonerate them for these types of things that happen.
The thing that's really interesting about this too, and I don't know if people know this, that people of all races can get sickle cell. It is predominant in people of color. But it is, it shows its ass the most in African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And even though, yes, these people were not African Americans, so people of African descent have
Mhm.
more problems with sickle cell than any other race of people. However, people of people of color, all races across the globe, can get sickle cell, and Caucasians can get sickle cell. It's just the likelihood that they're going to get it is slim to none, where it's much higher in people of African descent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. They say that sickle cell is probably something as a mutation from people that fended off malaria and
It is.
mosquito bites.
I thought
Yeah.
that was the
Yeah,
reason for it.
Yeah,
That's
that
what we
is.
it
learned in
is,
biology.
and
Yeah.
In
and I
tropical
think
places.
Yeah.
and I don't want to, and I know that we're not necessarily spoiler free, but I don't want to give away too much of the story to people who haven't watched it. But where they talked about the evolution of sickle cell, where basically it became its own version of the X gene,
Yeah.
and the mutant gene, and we're just now about to introduce mutants into the MCU and stuff. So to take a show like this that really for real beat them to the punch and did it in such a way that it was relatable.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we
They made it a tangible
there wasn't
thing.
nobody running around in a spandex suit,
No.
all leather suit, like what I'm saying. Like even the hooded figures, they had hoodies on,
Yeah, they had
and
hoodies
mask
on.
over their face. You could go to any costume store, what I'm saying, whatever, and get them
Any
masks.
mall. Yep.
Yeah, you can get them anywhere. They had masks over their face, they had hoodies on, and black
Mm-hmm.
Tims or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and that was their outfit to pretty
My
much, hide their identity.
one of my biggest faults of this show too were that the mastermind villains behind all of this, they were
Hmm.
white. And I don't think they all would have been white. I think you would have had some black people there, some Asian people there, and then people like we're studying these types of humans. And this is what we know about them. This is who we know this is the mutation that's occurring.
I
And they
figured it was some Karens and Kens in charge of it.
I would think it'd be all types to be in charge. I think the person at the top would be a Karen or Ken, but I think it would have been like 5 levels of whiteness then blackness to go up be the foot soldiers go out here and collect their own people. I think they'd have been a mixture. We would have had a couple of Clarence Thomases in there.
No, I get
Yeah,
that.
We
but
would
we
have had
did though. We did. They were just
yeah.
the hired hands. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm
All the
saying.
hooded
Above the
people
hired
was,
hands, it'd be a mastermind. There would be what's her name in the boys that's really smart. Sister
Sage.
Sage. There would have
yeah.
been a Sister Sage there masterminding this.
And maybe that's somewhere down the line. Like maybe you got some people like that are on the board of directors of this, because this
Yeah.
thing came off as a charitable, a philanthropic organization or whatever, and
Yes.
they just want to do stuff. So maybe that's somewhere down the line. However, I that's one part of the storyline I really didn't have a problem with, because it makes sense to me.
Yep.
If you are investigating, you are examining, experimenting on this particular swath of people, then why would you have one in your midst? Hell, for all I know, they could have a dormant sickle cell gene, get the super gene here, and you get the barking orders because you the head Karen in charge, and be like, wait a minute, you didn't know my power just activated. I just think that they'd be like, we,
No, I think
Now,
they
we
would have
gonna
found. I
run
think
these
they would
I
have
agree
found
people.
with,
Uncle Ruckus. I think they would have found one
and
that
we
looked
don't
like
know a
that.
lot about this, and
Maybe,
we only got what
maybe
Yeah.
6
we had
episodes, and
six
Yeah.
so there's a lot.
episodes, one season.
Yeah,
So I mean, there's
Yeah.
definitely
And
room to grow.
there.
a lot. And this is
And
an original
I see
IP,
your
right?
point.
So it's not like we have a basis for it
Yeah.
or things like
Like
that.
there
So,
would be like a Samuel Jackson in Django.
and I think we'll see some of those things. So we don't know a lot.
Hmm.
It's a lot.
All right, so
Yeah.
let me throw out a few little fun questions before we wrap this thing up. So,
Okay. Sweet.
um, which hero? And I use that loosely because I don't think any of our group of five really saw themselves as hero. They had
Yeah.
specific goals for what they were trying to do, and the only reason that they were grouped up together was because they had specific things that they wanted to do. But which of them was your favorite and why? And kind of also in there, any particular power that we saw in this show, so not what you know from MCU and X-Men, that we saw in this show that you would want.
I'll jump in real quick. It was Michael for me. And what we touched on is the black love, man. I love this love story between
Mm-hmm.
him, his soulmate, and his high school sweetheart. They've been together forever. And if I have found that love. So I want to say if I hadn't found that love, like if there's nothing that I wouldn't do to like stop my wife from dying, even not even thinking that my actions could cause it to happen, but I would do everything that I could. So I definitely relate with that storyline, and I enjoyed both of their characters the best. And I would like that power, the transportation to be able to go into the future, those type of things. I think that's a really cool power.
Mm-hmm.
Professor Xavier has always been one of my favorite not necessarily the character, because I just called him a villain, but I always liked the power to read minds. I thought that was
Mm-hmm.
cool. And the thing to control time, they didn't really specify what the power was. We just got that it was something with like time and motion and those things. And I think there's a lot of potential for that power. So I'd like to see how he develops it into the future. So Michael and his corresponding power is what stood out to me the most.
What about you, Chuck?
I go with Getz, who played
Oh,
Craig Crazy.
oh.
I love his power, and he's basically rogue. I can touch you and get your power,
Mhm.
and that he
Yeah,
figured
but
that
but
out.
the problem with Crazy was that he didn't keep the power. He had to
Um,
be in close proximity to you or touch you to get
yes,
the power. And as soon
yeah,
as he got away from you for a little bit,
he
he
lose it.
didn't
Yeah,
keep it. Yeah.
that's fine. I'm totally
Which
fine with
was
that.
which was interesting. That
I
was
thought that was very
interesting.
interesting because all he used to do is get
Hmm.
close to you, and by the time you figure that out, he's already done you in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's
Like
already
when
done
Rodney
you
ran
in.
over to him, I was like, why? You ain't picked up on what his power is? Like, dude,
Yeah, Rodney's an idiot.
Rodney is an idiot.
Rodney's an idiot. He's Drake.
Yeah.
He's
It's like
total Drake in
how
there.
Spud's smarter than you?
Yeah,
God,
and
you
you so
just
spoiled. You so spoiled.
mm-hmm.
I did
Yeah,
like
which
I
that was
do
interesting. His little what
hmm
little piece of his backstory we got. That was something.
I do like Taser. I thought Taser was ride or die with his peeps. He was ready.
Mm-hmm.
He went outside to go face him. He was like, fuck it.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Shorty sat to set him up. He smacked
Mm-hmm.
the shit out of her. I
Ah,
was
Did
like,
I was
he
like, oh
whooped her
damn.
monkey
Jesus
ass.
Christ.
Ah,
Damn.
he whooped her ass. I was like,
Yeah.
Damn.
damn.
Like, come
She'll
on.
never do that again.
Like, yeah, like Tuesday was like, hey, she set us up, so anybody can get it.
I
Anybody
Anybody
did
can
can
like
get
he
it.
get it.
stood tall for his friend.
He
He
did.
took the fade. I
Mm-hmm.
thought that was dope. So I thought he was ride or die for his peoples, and he was gonna go into Crazy's mama's house.
Yeah.
Hey,
Go
He
into
was
the
like,
house.
they ran up on my grandma. Let's do
yeah.
Let's
this.
do
I
this.
felt
He was
that. Hey,
ride or
you done ran
die.
up on my grandma. Oh,
Oh
you
yeah.
got to go.
Yeah. But it
And
You
the
was
got
crazy
one
to
dude
saying,
who I
go.
look,
thought
I'm gonna kill
wouldn't
your
stop him
grandma.
actually stopped. He was like, man, we can't be beating up people's mamas. I know what they did, but Taser was like, nah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's
Yeah.
run this. Let's run this.
Yeah, because
He
they was like, man, we can't do that. And it's like, oh, so grandmas, they okay
Like
now,
they can
but we
just do
can't run up on their
grandmas,
mom.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
nah, he got to get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me,
Yeah, for you.
I thought Michael,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want that power. Like, the teleportation, awesome. I love it. Uh him just being able to think and go somewhere, I love that. Uh stopping time thing, I love that. But going into the future or whatever and knowing more than you should know, I don't want no parts of that. Because how do you, I don't know, just as we see all these other properties that deal with time travel and stuff like that, and the sacred timeline and all that, how can you make sure that if you go in 3 months into the future and you see this thing happening, and it's like, okay, how do you even make sure that you get to there? Because now you know too much. Now you're going to start changing a whole bunch of stuff. Now you didn't create all sorts of alternate timelines. Nah,
Mm-hmm.
you can keep that. I think the
Yeah.
one for me was Sabrina. Like
Mm-hmm.
when she started, levitating or flying, and then basically the telekinesis. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
for that. Like I liked Sabrina. That I
Yeah.
that her power was the one. Even though my first thought would have been probably Michael. My second thought would have been Taser, but that was for more selfish reasons. I was like, yeah, hold that vault door open just a few seconds
Exactly.
more. Like, yeah. But I think all in all, I think for real, I think it would have to be Sabrina for me.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I get all of those.
Yeah. It was
All right.
interesting. One reason I didn't
Go ahead.
choose Michael, because Michael
Mm-hmm.
reminded me of Gojo. And he's not quite
Ooh.
Gojo.
Mm.
Like
Okay.
he had more power than Gojo because he could go to the future. Gojo couldn't go to the future. But Gojo's ability to manipulate time and space was
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. He
Yeah.
was the atomic bomb in that
Yeah,
series.
he was
And I
he
think
was that
Michael
dude.
is the atomic bomb in this series. And I was like, it's kind of like
Yeah.
cheating, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
It is. It is. All right. So a few more things before we wrap this thing up. Any standout moments in this season for you? And anybody can jump in here. Any standout moments?
I think the penultimate when they all met up at Crazy's house, Crazy's lair,
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't see Crazy. Like he disappeared on them.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he knew they were coming, and he
Mm.
somehow escaped. And they never explains how he escaped because we knew he was there, and we knew they came in from both doors. We knew there were two sets of doors. Andre came in one, and they came in another,
Mm-hmm.
and yet he was disappeared, and we don't know how he disappeared yet. And when don't get me wrong, they have a whole building full of these people, so we don't know what's going on.
And
Go
that's kind of
ahead.
my standout moment. How long has this organization been in existence? And how
Mm-hmm.
long have they been collecting all these people, all these
And doing
black people?
experiments.
Yeah.
Well, remember when they took somebody's blood and then they opened that cabinet and it had all those vials in it? Like this, I
Yeah,
mean, because
that's
what we saw, we only saw that they had maybe 8 people in them little clear cells.
So,
Did you see all them vials of blood? Like they've been at this for a long time.
yeah,
long
that's what
time.
makes me wonder, like, and is it just in London, right? Like, is it just the
Yeah.
London thing? Is it in the like, there's black people all across the world, right? So,
Yeah.
how far does the tentacles of this organization reach? So, that was kind
Yeah.
of that important for me.
I
Yeah.
think my standout moments was in the last episode, like the battle between all of them. And actually there was 2 of them in there, but that episode, the last episode, Supercell, um, when they were the big fight with all of them and them just, pulling Andre back to their side and just
Mm-hmm.
all of that. I think when Crazy took Rodney's powers
Oh, and
and
went
went ham and
ham.
killed all of them real quick, I was like,
Oh,
hey, my jaw hit the ground. I said, oh, we didn't went past Game of Thrones. And when you say anybody
yeah.
can get it, everybody got it. Like, what the
Everybody
hell?
did.
And I
He
was like, yeah, that was crazy.
crazy. It
This is
suit
crazy.
the
Pun
name. It
intended.
suit the
Uh,
name. Yeah.
yeah,
He
that was
put in work.
no, but when he left Taser for last, they held him in the air. He's like, "Oh, is this the knife that you?" And he was stabbing the shit out of him. Like he
Yeah,
stabbed
he
him about 100
was.
times. Like,
Yep.
man. Um, but that and Crazy's last little hurrah where he picked up the gun and fired the shot off. Oh, that
Yeah,
down there broke
Yeah.
my heart.
yeah.
You done
And you
done
knew it
all
was
of
coming,
this.
right? You knew it.
You have been working all this time. You have been doing everything you can to prevent this. And it wasn't about the date that it happened. It was about this was, as we've seen in the Marvel universe and all them other places where we talk about time travel, that was a fixed event.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So
It
it
was a
seems
canon
like
event.
Greek
It was a
yeah,
mythology,
canon
it's
like
a
event.
mythology,
canon
we hear
event.
it. Yeah,
Like,
the oracles and things like that. It was going to
yeah,
happen.
It was a canon event.
Yeah. And there's nothing
yeah.
you can do to change it.
That is
Yeah.
which makes it interesting, the final scene when, he got the band all back together and
Mm-hmm.
his wrapping his head around and making peace with she's gone, because it's not like he didn't know she was supposed to
Yeah.
go. He thought that everything he was going to be able to do was to make sure nothing happened to her.
Mm-hmm. She
Wrapped his
died
head
soon.
around it yeah, it makes me think that what we saw of that vision of future, well, that future is dead now because everything happened earlier.
Yeah,
He's in a whole different mind space because that future him that he saw was still pining over her. Like when it happened, there was nothing he could do about it.
yeah,
Well, this one did everything he could to prevent it and still failed at that.
failed at it.
It's a whole different Michael,
Yeah, he
you
was
I
a
know.
want to know if
So,
villain.
Michael become a villain.
Yeah,
ooh,
I don't know if
he
Michael's
turned.
necessarily a hero. As it's
Yeah,
hard.
Xavier went straight Magneto.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to be like, I'm still gonna be a hero to this. Like, nah, anybody can get it. There's
Yeah,
not helping
so
me.
because he's like, let's go get him.
Yeah.
so did he become a villain after Crazy shot Dion, or did he
Yes.
become a villain after Crazy killed all of them and he went back? So not in the future, he went back in time, and as soon as he saw that starting to play out, he called himself killing the shit out of Crazy, and everybody was like, "Wait, what the hell? You are, kind of de facto leader. I didn't know you even had beef with Crazy." When he stabbed Crazy up, and he
I think
just turned around trying to explain to them, you can't explain to them what I just saw in my head, what actually just happened, and I went back to the future to prevent that. Like, he just like,
yeah.
he was gonna kill us all. Like, how you know?
Yeah, I don't think he turned into a villain there. I think he would have sat down and had to explain to it and then really explain because he's never truly explained his powers. Nobody really explained their powers to anybody except Rodney. Everybody knew Rodney was a speedster, and I think and they knew that Sabrina could levitate and move things, change the trajectory of things. Like, but
Well,
I don't think he
Michael told
turned.
her that, and she didn't even know that because he
Hmm.
saw her do that in the future. She's like, I
Saw
can't
it
Yeah,
do that.
fly. She didn't see, and
she
she was
didn't
like,
see it,
I
and
can't
she could
fly.
fly. Yeah, she said can't fly.
Yeah,
He said,
Michael told her that she can do that, and she's like,
Right.
no, I can't. I can't do it.
yeah, and he was like,
No, I think Rodney explained his powers that he was a speedster, but also
yeah,
Taser explained his powers to Screamer. Like
yeah,
when Screamer wasn't, when he saw him materialize after he done stabbed up all the Sixers. He's like, what the
mm-hmm,
hell? He said,
yep,
ain't nobody human can do that. Are you an alien? He's like, no,
yep.
I don't think so. He's like,
Yeah.
so what? You're
But
not fooling with me no more? He said, it doesn't matter. If you was an alien, I fox
My
with you.
guy.
Like,
Like
yeah,
he's my
yeah, that'd
guy.
be my guy. But
yeah.
that's the beauty of Screamer is not really one of them though, right? So yeah, so I think Michael thought he was doing the most heroic thing, the most heroic deed was to kill this man. I didn't want to kill any of us, but I realized if we get anywhere near him, he's gonna kill all of us.
Right.
Yeah, but it also really, even in a self-defense capacity, and we're not even talking about
Mm-hmm.
guns, we're talking about knife, close hand combat.
Mm-hmm.
It takes tapping into a dark part of yourself
It
to do
does.
that.
It does.
Um,
And he wasn't a gangster at all. And
no,
he
Yeah,
had to
he's
do
a
it
you.
through his
I
no, he's
mean,
wisdom.
he's a
he's the
square.
delivery driver.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like,
he's a
yeah, that's
square
it.
dude,
ah,
square
Yeah,
dude, loving his girl.
yeah,
yeah, that's it.
hey,
And at the
That's
end of
not
the
who he
day,
was.
what made him do that to him is because he know what was going to happen to his girl. Yeah, I think
yeah,
his whole thing was like, "Fuck that! I'm going to
mm-hmm,
save her no matter what."
And
yeah,
now in his brain, he failed.
He failed. So I think after that happened and she died, and he reconciled, I am the villain. He went straight Batman.
I
I
think
am
that
and
Batman.
and then
He
not
went from
only
Superman to
that too.
Batman.
Not only that, his understanding of how it all went down, he don't even
Hmm.
blame Crazy. No,
Don't even
no,
blame him.
it
Mhm.
ain't
blames
Crazy.
himself.
It ain't them hooded dudes. Who
Yeah.
sent them? Who is Ray? Who sent them?
Who
That's who
sent
I'm
him?
going to get.
That's what I'm gonna
Yeah,
go
I need to
get.
see the
Mhm.
bigger picture. Who sent
Yep.
them? That's who we go get.
And
That's
yeah,
who we go
I don't
get.
know how you get over that. I
Kill
don't.
everybody that sent
Everybody,
crazy.
that's what I'm
Uh,
saying. Like everybody's
uh,
got to get it.
very,
Everybody.
very, very easily in season 2, when you done lost Dion, and now you see that the people that you looking for got your mama.
Yep.
And all that. But that's even worse. Like, I feel like he goes villain. I
Yeah.
feel like
Anybody can get it.
it take yeah,
Mm-hmm.
anybody on the team, like anybody that's stopping me from
Yeah.
getting them. I don't care if it's for right or for wrong. all y'all can get it.
All y'all can get it.
Yeah, because probably what kept him
Except the
grounded,
ride or
what kept
dies that
him
came with me
anchored.
right now, they with
I
me
feel
right
like they
now.
can get it if they try to stop him.
I think so too.
Oh,
Because I
oh,
think
I feel like
what really kept him
anybody.
grounded, what kept him anchored was
was
Dion.
Dion.
And now
Yeah.
that she's gone, shit.
Yeah.
And again,
Everybody's
he's got to feel like he failed because he knew this was going to happen. And with
Yeah.
all this power, he still
Mhm.
didn't get it done.
And he looks so
and
broken in the future
Yeah,
too.
you can't get over that.
I don't see how he couldn't. You got to think about this wasn't just some random girl. This was,
Yeah.
probably in the black community and maybe in other communities too. But that is like, to me on film, that's one of the closest examples that they have of showing your soulmate.
Yes,
Like he been with
sir.
this girl since 9th or 10th grade. He ain't had no other girlfriend since he was a freshman in high school.
Mhm.
That is his one. That is his person. And
And
someone
it wasn't,
took her away from him.
yeah, it wasn't
Shit, I
about
burned the
money or
world down, my boy.
status or nothing. It was
Yep.
just when
This
he
is my
said, she
person.
said, when he went to the
Listen,
park and they were talking about, he was like, yeah, I should have proposed here. She said, I would have accepted it anywhere you asked me.
look, come on now.
Yeah.
Listen, they don't
Yeah.
even make women like her for real. Like they they broke the mold.
Man,
They
They
got
do.
they got a
They
few of
took
them.
her
do.
away
They
from me.
they
Nah,
they
anybody can get it at any time.
no, what I'm saying is the
Mhm.
depictions we get of black women in media
Yeah.
through social media, through whatever, and your love and hip hops and all that,
Yeah.
they don't
Television
give
thing.
us depictions of her.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they don't.
You know what I'm
We know
saying?
that
Yes,
exists.
those women are out there in real life,
they are.
Mhm.
and they are damn near that, what I'm saying, that's Where's Waldo.
That was the
Shit.
best
You
part
know what I'm
of
saying?
this show was that depiction of
Yeah,
black
I love them.
love.
Yeah, this was a love
Yeah,
story in the ear, right? It's a love story.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure, you
yeah,
had
there
two women that
is a
were you had
is a
you had two
tragedy.
women that were broken, one extremely broken, and you have one that wasn't, but you had one that was like, I got my stuff together.
Yeah, man.
And this
Yep.
is my dude, and I'm his woman, and we both know that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
His
And
mother knew it,
they
his
still
best
It,
took that away.
friend,
it,
like
best
everybody
friend
around them knew, like, yeah,
was happy for them.
yeah, this is the
And they
one.
still took that away from us. And
They
I
took it
and I
away
kind of
from them.
hate I kind of hate that Randy, I mean, I feel like you are right that this could very easily
Turn him
go
into the
over into
bastard.
where
Yeah,
Michael turns into the Joker. I really don't care anymore. I will
yeah.
burn the world down.
All that.
He
Don't
may
care.
turn into the Joker. This may be it for him.
Yeah, man.
All right, so do we want a season 2?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. We gotta see that. We gotta
Okay,
see that.
so
And
now
what? But
we got 6 episodes.
Hmm.
Do we want longer episodes or more episodes than just 6? I mean, they told a succinct story in 6 episodes, but you know, do we want 8 or 10 stories next time around? Like, where do we
No,
see the story actually going
I
after
think
the way that
six.
it ended?
I think six. Personally, I think 6 episodes is enough. I After watching Marvel '97, I wish more shows trim the fat off their shows and just give me the good parts. I mean, understand, I need to take a breath from time to time, but Marvel
Hmm.
'97 set a bar really high. And I think this kept to that bar. Like, there was no wasted moments here. I got Black Love. I got really poorly put together relationships. I got family loneliness. The boy was like, my mama left me. He thought his mom abandoned him. Like when he was talking to his grandma and was like, she don't care
Yeah,
about us.
yeah.
She ain't even here. And he didn't even know why she left.
mhm. He
You
got no
know?
closure. Yeah.
No closure whatsoever. And it
Hmm.
added to him and Andre's son. We have fatherly love. And the son that thought the drug dealer was cool, trying to lure him in, and did a great job of luring him in. So I think so. 6 episodes is a sweet spot. It's like a lot of things are there. I didn't need to dive more. I wish some of the core characters were more around, but we can get that in season 2.
I'm fine. I
Okay.
would love season 2. Six is fine with me. Maybe 8. I want to see Marvel. I'm not Marvel. I want to see Netflix get him some money. If I had one bit of improvement, I have was some of the visuals, and I want to see them give this talented director and writer a real budget to work with, and I think he can make. He made magic. I think he can do even better with a real budget for it. So that's what I hope happens with season 2. I'll trust the writing to him because he did a good job. I want to see Netflix systemically give this man a budget. And let's see him.
I agree with all of that. I definitely want a season 2. I can't wait to have a season 2. I think I would like 8 episodes, but I am in agreement, Chuck. Like X-Men 97 set the bar high. They gave us all fat and all meat, no fat. They kept their foot on the gas the entire time. So I did like that.
Yeah.
I would like to see that in season 2. And now that you have given us people with powers, and now we have people with powers on both sides. Like, come on, let's get the X-Men and the Brotherhood of Mutants. Let's get it on. Like I want to see some battles for whatever. Like, I want to see more action that way. I understand we got to move the story along with some character development, and maybe you give us some, I don't know, some montages, some flashbacks or something or whatever, but I want foot on the gas, make it fast and furious.
Yeah.
And I think I would like 8 episodes though. I mean, this was short, and by the time you're like, oh wait, this is the last episode is getting ready to go off. So maybe 8 seems more appropriate. If Michael turned villain, that would not surprise me.
I worry about 8 because I don't want to overstay its welcome. I'd rather long for more than think I got satisfied with 8 and don't want to see.
Well, and the only reason I say that is because also at the same time, we know Netflix, you know what I'm saying? And this can be critically acclaimed, and you say everybody's watching, and they'll be like, well, the analytics said it's not doing what we thought it was going to do. We're going to cancel it. And we're like, wait, there's more story to be told. Like, did Ratman even get through the story that he wanted to tell for y'all to mess around and canceled it? And I just think that if we had a few more episodes, he can get more of his story out before Netflix do what they do.
Drop-off is a really big thing in Netflix. Drop-off is really big. And so say season 2 comes and 6 episodes, everybody's there, and in 7, 8 people drop off. Kind of like how they did Game of Thrones, they would cancel it.
I mean, I get it.
Less is more. I guess less can be more.
It can be. I mean, I guess there's no really good answer to that.
Yeah, because they can give a season 3 if the next 6 do very well.
Yeah.
And we don't necessarily need 7, 8 seasons, but like I would like to see him finish what he started.
Yeah, he can finish with the second season. I just finish with the second season.
And I would be good with that.
And I think that's the issue with Netflix, right? We don't know. The show did debut #1. It was #1 for a while. Then it lost its #1 spot to the murder. Every murder documentary takes over #1 in Netflix. Americans love murder. There's whole channels. I didn't know there's like 5 murder channels on TV.
It's the #1 podcast too. Murder Myths, the #1 podcast.
They are #1 podcast, but there are murders.
When y'all say murder mysteries, but it's not murder mysteries. It's the ones that are factual, that are based in real life, real life events.
I don't know.
They're unsolved murder. A lot of them unsolved murders.
Those are crazy.
Whatever that genre is.
Like Serial crushed it, and there's murders everywhere, and it's like Americans love murder. People dying, they're going to watch it. It is complete gladiator games in this country. And I hope this does get a second season. It's worthy of a second season. We know there's more story. Ratman has even expressed that there's more story to this.
Yeah.
And I want to see how does this disease impact other people? Not just our community, but other communities. Like, it'd be interesting somebody else pop up, see an Asian kid running the street, and you're like, what? Some little Filipino kid jumps over a building. You're like, that makes sense. Or a Polynesian kid jumps over a building that's there, And are these people drawn to each other because they have this gene?
Yeah, it's a lot we don't know about.
There's a lot we don't know about.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the Force before the Force became what the Force is today. We didn't know a lot about it, but
they even said sometimes when they're around each other, it can trigger it because it can go dormant It can go
Them
dormant
Well,
for
that's
decades, and you just
but that's what triggered it. And I thought that was super interesting that they
Yeah.
never showed it. But if you start playing it back in your head, like scenes, like when
Like
Michael's
Sabrina.
power kicked in was when he pulled into the Estates and the first time that he came across Taser.
Taser.
That's when he had his first little deja vu moment. You know, same, and that could be the same thing for Taser. Sabrina's kicked in when he delivered that package and her sister answered the door.
Yeah.
You know, so all of these little things. There was one time where the little bar that Michael's friend owns, Michael was walking into the bar and Andre and his friend were walking out. And then Rodney came up to Michael on the street trying to sell him some weed.
Sell him some weed. Yep.
So we don't know what that means, right? It's so much. Yes.
Yeah. So
we don't necessarily need to know, right? We just know that it happened. We don't have to know. We don't have to know the ins and outs and all of the science. You know, we just know that it happens.
Some things are better in mythos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some things are better than mythos.
I do want to, before we re-rate this thing, I do want to give a shout out. Not only because we talked a great deal about Ratman and the excellent job that he did on this, but I really think that the actors themselves delivered. Tosin Cole as Michael, Adedayo as Dion, Nadine Mills as Sabrina. But to me, the one that I was surprised to see, because I've seen him in so many other projects, Eric Kofi Obrafa, who was played Andre. Like I was like, when I saw him, I was like, wait a minute, that's Lamar from BMF. That's Jedediah. That's Jedediah the Terrible from Book of Clarence. Like, I was like, okay.
That's when the comment said. She was like, "Oh, Lamar moved from Detroit and went to London."
Yeah.
Hey, I remember the first time watching some behind the scenes stuff of the season of BMF and hearing him talking. I was like, wait, he's British? I thought that brother was from Detroit. Like, he's British. I said, these damn Brits, they take over everything, everywhere.
They get it what
acting
they
is
do.
serious. What did Chuck say? He said it's like a theater on every corner in London.
Theater on every corner in London.
Yeah, that dude's got chops. So man, I thought that they were really, really outstanding, and I really loved how they play these roles. And I know I didn't mention Calvin Demba as Rodney.
He did a great job as Rodney. You didn't like him.
I mean, he was good as I just didn't like his character. I thought
that's a good
even though
job.
he made some very questionable choices and he compounded them by making another bad choice, Josh Tadeku as Taser, I really liked him too.
But
you know what I like?
Sister, I forgot her name.
Raja Oja.
She did a phenomenal job.
Charlene,
you didn't like the character just got on your nerves.
But
I
just didn't like her either.
Acting performance, she was outstanding.
She was. Oh my God.
She was, and I think it was a detriment because she really lit up the stage. Like she was that live wire that, you know, as a matter of fact, I laughed so damn hard when they showed up to Sabrina's boyfriend's house and the other chick came out and Charlene, you know, Sabrina told her go wait in the car and she took the damn Uber Eats and started eating it and stuff. Like, all right, well, you know, you need me, just call me.
She did take it.
I thought that shit was hilarious.
I was like, wow, this chick is wild. And she getting a PhD.
Right.
Yeah.
MMA? Why? What was she?
Yeah, she's getting a PhD, but then, you know, when she go to the club, she fall right in for the worst Negro in there, you know. I was like, what year is it?
Vampire.
But he had a mouthful of golds and a long ponytail. I was like, what year is it? Like,
you go in the dark alley to make out with him? That's just
alone. Alone is the big problem, right?
But her thing was, I'm trying to make Crazy jealous.
Yeah, I get all that, but
she thinks Crazy would come. She thought Crazy was gonna come along and kill that dude. And I was like, God, girl, that girl's crazy.
But did she even know that Crazy was out at that time?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he came over to the house.
He came over to the house, and she's like, "I'm going to the club to make him jealous."
Yeah, he did. And she don't know the whole time that that little dude worked for Crazy.
Yep.
Because all of them people, all them hooded people, they worked for Crazy.
She was the worst, but Great performance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna re-rate it.
Yeah, let's go and rewrite this thing.
Okay.
I'm gonna go first.
Okay.
I gave it a full meal. And not so much that I had real problems with it. It's not a perfect series, but it is a great series. And I have actually I have done a deep dive that on my own channel for each one of these episodes. I've already dropped the first one. I'll be dropping this next one maybe tomorrow, the day after. Uh I've been telling everybody about this and just thinking back to my parameters on what makes something binge worthy. I think I'm gonna go up to a binge worthy because I think what
Okay.
problems I have with this are really minimal. I
Mm.
applaud Ratman. I applaud the actors who brought this to life and gave us a relevant story that really resonated with me. And even for the differences from South London to South Louisville, uh, I felt this story. I did love Michael and Dion. Like, hats off to Black Love. Like, listen, I'm all for it. I love this, and I think that other people of color should watch this, and really, everybody should watch this. As a matter of fact, DC and the MCU should watch this. Whoever is making movies and writing shit over there, hey, y'all sit down and watch this, and maybe we can get a decent movie out. Lord knows DC need all the help. Maybe Ratman should be writing all the DC movies because, you know, James Gunn should hire him. Like, So, and the MCU, that shit they've been putting out lately, yeah, they should hire Ratman too. So, Ratman, shoot him your resume, tell him you available. But you gonna make, the Killmonger 2 or some shit. Like, you gonna do things your way, my boy. So I'm going up.
All right. I'll jump in here. I'll be really succinct, and I don't want to take his I don't want to take his glory or anything if he were going to say it, but Chuck Babb said if Netflix cancels this and renews the Good Times animated series, I'm canceling my subscription. And so I echo those sentiments exactly, and that's why I'm going to sustain my rating of a full binge out.
That part. Come on, bring it home, Chuck. Bring it home, because I forgot that he said it, and he did, and he's absolutely right.
I did say that. I
Oof.
did say it.
Oh,
I
see,
did
that just
say
made my blood pressure rise. Ooh.
it. My thing is, I'm going to keep it as a full meal, you guys,
Okay.
and I'm gonna
Okay.
keep it as a full meal for because of Netflix. This was a good outing. Ratman did a good show for what it was and what the budgets I hear were. Um, I want them to give them more. Give him more. Now, giving more can go one or two ways. Too much
Mm-hmm.
can go real bad.
Mm-hmm.
We've all seen entertainers get a full belly, and the next project, the sophomore slump, hits
Yeah.
hard, or it can go really really well. Uh, Ratman has expressed that he has more story for this. He said there may be a novel series to come with this as well,
Ooh.
but he has more
Okay.
story with this. So I'm really excited about that, if that is true. But I want to keep it as a full meal. The acting was good. The lines, some of the lines could have been a little bit better, could have been a little bit tighter. All the characters were believable. I do give them that. The environment was believable. It was South London. They focused on South London. There's a lot of other places besides South London that Black people
Mm-hmm.
live in as well. And it'd be nice. And they went into the estates in South London and they went outside the estates. Like we knew Crazy's mom was living nice. She
Yeah.
living good.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, this is what he's doing on these streets. He's dropping off Rolexes and Cartier watches and stuff.
Yeah.
And like he was on, he was about that life. Of course, he was state property, so that helps a lot. He was state property. But for y'all that don't know what state property is, means the government owns you and they front you to have your image so you can actually be an informant for them. Um, but I'm gonna keep it a full meal with hopes that it'll be a binge worthy on the second season, like nonstop. And I actually concede to you and Johnny, Randy on that Michael becomes the villain and can't be stopped because he's Gojo already. He's Gojo already. And every time he does something, he can go to the future to check to see if it got better or worse and come back. And that's enough to drive you mad. That is enough to drive you mad. Like every major thing I do, I killed this person in the organization. Let me jump to the future to see that organization's gone. Oh, it's still there. I got to kill more people. Oh, somebody else took over. He just goes on this murder spree. And then the groups are like we have to stop him before he kills up all of us. And he's
Yeah.
hard to kill because
And the future isn't clear, right?
Yes.
Ambiguity. So imagine he sees one of his teammates doing something that he thinks is betraying him.
Betraying him, he'll go out and kill him. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. When he goes to the future and one of his he thinks somebody's teammates is doing something wrong and they're actually in the future doing something right, but it's not to his liking. And he
I'm
comes
spitting
back.
right now.
Yeah.
Because I could clearly see Rodney and Taser doing something that he's not jigging
Not happy
so.
with. Yeah, not happy
Yeah.
with. They actually
I don't really
improve the
see that
future.
from Sabrina Andre, but I mean anything
It could
be
happen
possible
with them too.
Or
Yeah.
he just doesn't even capture. He misinterprets it. He sees him talking to somebody, right?
Yeah, and misinterpret.
That's
Like,
my enemy right there.
Andre's talking to the drug dealer that has a stranglehold on his son right now, right? And Michael just reads that all wrong. I gotta kill this dude. He's gonna go behind my back. That's one of Crazy's boys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna keep it a full meal. Hope season 2's a binge out. That's all I gotta say. I'm sorry. We went on.
Okay, so with me flipping and with me going up, we went from a 4.3 at first, for where it rounded down to a full meal to now 4.67. So it rounds up to a binge worthy for now.
Okay. So binge worthy is the new rating.
All right. I do want to thank my esteemed colleagues here. I definitely cannot do any of this without them. They are the OGs and they were kind enough to bring me in to hang on to their coattails. I want to thank the greatest technical producer in the land, Rodney Cajudo. Crystal over at Digital Click. Listen, if you have any digital marketing needs, you need graphics or whatever, figure out how to get in touch with Digital Click. You can see them on all the graphics and stuff that we do. They are fantastic, and you should definitely use them if you have any needs. Next week on BingeWorthy, which is going to be a strange week because we're leading into Comic-Con. And because this is the Geekish Network, of course, we do Comic-Con. As a matter of fact, our esteemed colleague here, Chuck, will be gallant. I don't even know what word I want to say, but he's going to
gallivanting.
He's going to do that at BlurredCon this weekend. So he's going to be in Washington D.C. just cosplay all in his face. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Cosplay in his face.
Y'all so stupid. Y'all so stupid. I'm gonna ignore y'all right now. I'm gonna look at my phone right now because I'm for some cosplay.
For some cosplay. So but next week we will be covering the season finale, the season 1, maybe the series finale of The Acolyte. So that should be very interesting. So please join us next week because we're gonna have one heck of a conversation about everything, what Star Wars is and what it no longer is. So with that being said,
we have special guests for that show, so it's exciting.
We do, and that's exciting. We have some special guests, and we should have the closest to what we've had is a full table in quite a while. So, that's gonna be a full show. So, all right. So to everyone, thank you for showing up, and please listen. If you haven't subscribed, go subscribe right now. Tell your friends, subscribe. Right now, we trying to hit. We're 20 away from a thou wow. We trying to hit that real soon. I would love to announce next week on next week's show that we found that 20 within a week's time. So help us to do that. Please
and watch
show
us.
up.
We get the watch hours up too.
Yeah, continue to watch the shows. Continue to watch Geek Beast. If you weren't on before this show, Geek Beast, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Pod Squadron on Mondays. Like, we have some shows and we got plenty more coming. So stick with us. Thank y'all and good night.